within the limits of the cemetery plot. Yes.
Really?
Yes, because people were shorter. Lots originally was smaller. Yeah. So
How tall was he?
I don't know how tall he was,
Evidently too tall.
but I do know that he was the perfect Hoosier. He was born in Ohio, educated in Illinois, and came to Indiana, and they said he was a perfect Hoosier. And like Herb Schreiner, whom you may remember, he loved to tell stories. And there is a book of his anecdotes that has been published. So you can look them up if you're interested. These are stories that probably were told to fellows when they were eating and drinking schnapps or drinking beer or doing something like that. But yes. Dress is a protege of Mayor Bossy. We weren't sure.
That's better.
Okay.
I can hold it.
No, that's
Here we go.
you can direct it if you want.
Yeah.
Okay. Try that.
We need a table. That's all there is. Dress was a protege of Mayor Bossy. He came here as a young man to teach Lutheran school. He had been, his father was a Lutheran school teacher. He was going to teach at Trinity Lutheran School. So, of course, he was not married, so that means that a member of the congregation had to put him up. He was put up by the Bossy family. Mayor Bossy is only 2 years older or so than Mayor Dress. And they became fast friends. Dress taught school for 20 years at Trinity Lutheran, and then he succumbed to Bossy's encouragement and entered the world of politics. And he started out as a bank teller at Bossy's Bank. Now you know there was no bank in the West Side, so Mayor Bossy started a bank, and that building is still there on Franklin Street. The bank had no money when it opened, but it had some big deposits by the end of the first day. And it was a very successful bank. It actually was one of the last to close in the panic in the 1920s. When it closed, it still paid all of its customers what it owed them. So it still had that much money, but they had to close at that point. As a member of the bank, he started the road to politics. Dress, of course, became a president of the West Side Nut Club. Yes, so this was his start in politics. And then he eventually will become mayor. And for a long time, up until recently, Bossy and Dress were the only mayors who were elected 3 times, and both died in office. So, Dress ran twice, and then he lost the election, and then he was elected after that. Dress was very, very popular mayor, and we had Dress Plaza and Dress Airport, but we have no airport, and Dress Plaza is not what it used to look like. And Mayor Dress was mayor when we had the flood in 37. So he had quite a extended time of it with the flood, as you can imagine. That was the big flood. There were floods before, but that was it. Ed Diekman was another member of Trinity Lutheran Church who steps in when Dress dies. And he had been a sheriff, and he was, I think, controller when he took over for Mayor Dress and finished out his term. So those are two that I wanted to mention. This area here is filled with lots and lots of people. One of the challenges is so many businessmen are buried here, and they built Evansville to be what it is. When we're standing here, we're looking at a cemetery that Mayor Bossy and his wife enlarged. We're looking at Helfrich Park over there, which Mayor Bossy died trying to get the city to buy. And we're looking through the trees at Mesker Park, which Mayor Bossy had enlarged greatly. Besides that, Garvin Park and Aiken Park, I think, are two of the parks that he was very much part of. As you know, he built Bossy Stadium. Now, I say he. Bossy did. I say he. Actually, one of his great talents was he was a farm boy. And as a farm boy, he was used to working with other people. And as a farm boy, he had relatives everywhere. And I'm not kidding about relatives everywhere. And he was used to all of this, so he worked cooperatively. He didn't do things alone, but he had learned this from his mentor. Now, in 1848, Clamor Bossy and his 8-year-old son Henry come to Bedford County. And the first people, they first stay in the home of Gerhard O. Beatty, whose future son, not yet born, will be J.W. Beatty. So the families had known each other before these two boys were born. So this was a close relationship. They went to the same church. They went to the same schools. Bainey is older. He was born in 1856. Bossy is born in 1876. Bainey leaves home at between 16 and 17 and comes to Evansville to work for an uncle who is in the grocery business. Bossy, at 14, leaves home to come to Evansville to work for a brother who is in the grocery business. We have no recollection of how wonderful the grocery stores were in the development of Evansville. Some people remember that there used to be a grocery store on almost every block, but that's a long time ago. So all of this is going, all of this is a very important part of Bossy's life and of Bainey's life. Bainey, we know because he was very fortunate. He goes to commercial college and gets a job. He's working as a bookkeeper, and some people decide to get together and to form their first company, which will be involved in the manufacture of stoves. Now, all these years I've thought of Bainey as being part of the stove work. But that's not quite true. He was part of the stove work, but he expanded from there. He's involved in the furniture things. He's involved in all sorts of enterprises that are going on in Evansville because it's a growing time and people are setting up businesses all over the place and furniture is thriving. So he would be involved with that too. Bossy goes to commercial college, goes to work for 10 years at one place, and then is invited to become the manager of a new furniture group, the Globe Furniture thing. And as manager of that, he starts really expanding, and before you know it, I think he is involved in 5, 6, 7 different companies, and it just grows. How does he do this? Remember, there's no email, there's no telephone, there's no television. He's got a little bit of time on his hands. Yeah, a little bit of time on his hands. But he also was a powerhouse and someone that you just can't believe how busy he was. Now, it's we need to move up now to the Bossy place over here.